got to tell y'all about this thing called life. You know I got to share it. See, there's this thing called life. I got to tell y'all.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 190 of In a Good Way podcast. Today we have a returning guest, the very talented Tina Torres. Like I said, she's been a guest before. It's been almost 2 years, so it's great to see you again. It's an honor to have you here.
Likewise, thank you.
Absolutely. Just for those that don't know, Tina is a singer, songwriter, actor, makeup artist, business owner, and much more. Today, I actually wanted to ask her about something that I seen. I stumbled upon a video of yours that you were talking about vortex-based mathematics. That was like one of the first things I wanted to ask you too about. Actually, it's funny, you jumped on my feed about like some drama stuff.
What drama stuff?
The beauty pageant thing. But I mean, we could hop into that first if you want. But I mean, for me, I understood what you were doing. And I think that's kind of what happened. The first time I interviewed you, I got what you were saying. And you were even on some interviews talking about spiritual stuff. And people in the comments were like, and I was like, what? These people don't know any, like, you know what I mean? Almost like, I guess it just depends on the platform. Like, if you go talking, like the whole casting your pearls at the swine kind of thing, right? Like, if you were like sharing knowledge on the wrong platform, yeah, instantly you're crazy. You don't know, like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? So I was just like, what? Like, these people are so like, okay, let me invite you to talk about stuff here, right? Because I get it, right? So, and my audience will get it, right? Like, they know what's up. So, at the beauty pageant, I guess since we hopped into that, it was in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
So what was that? Because I don't follow all that. So what was it? A Miss Universe pageant?
Okay. It was an international pageant. It was Miss Environment International.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I had a publicist out there, and she wanted me to do the pageant just to get exposure, because pageants in the Philippines are huge. So I was like, okay, like let's go. And to me, it wasn't anything, you know what I mean? I don't really necessarily care about pageants. But once they started talking about the environment, and I was told by the organizers and other people, they're like, we actually care about the environment, and we want to choose whoever is going to be chosen, they said, is actually going to be able to use their voice on a global platform. I said, what? Excuse me? And that's when I started taking it really seriously. You know what I mean? I was like, my people, you guys are about the environment. Let's save the planet. Let's go. Until I like hit a brick wall in the middle of it all.
What? What happened? If you don't mind. Yeah.
Okay. So the pageant was connected. It was run by people from India. So when they came in, they connected because the host country was the Philippines, because the previous winner was from the Philippines. So because it was environmentally based, their point of contact was the head of the Climate Change Commission in the Philippines. So this lady, she was also the head of one of the Rotary clubs in the Philippines as well. And the Rotary Club there's like 25 of them all over the world, like this club of humanitarians, dignitaries, politicians, and people, but they're supposed to be doing things for humanity. So I'm just kind of peeping the energy, reading the energy. And at first I'm just noticing some like snide remarks from her to all of us girls in the pageant. And I'm like, yo, are any of these girls picking up on like these backhanded compliments and like this energy that she really doesn't like any of us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just observing, I'm learning about what they're talking about. Next thing you know, she is talking about pushing this carbon footprint agenda. She's like, we're going to be introducing this new calculator, blah, 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 blah. So now it breaks down, okay, how many Ubers, or how many times do you drive a car in a week? How many planes do you take? How much chicken are you eating? How much beef are you eating? How much are you recycling? All of this, you know what I mean? And a lot of us truthers know that all of this agenda is leading up to that digital ID, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, now I'm seeing one, she's, kind of sending some evil eye energy to all of us girls. She's the head of the Climate Change Commission in the Philippines. And now she's talking about pushing this agenda. Also, being the head of the Climate Change Commission, she is receiving funds to be able to clean the air in Manila and to clean the Pasig River in Manila. And none of that is happening.
Wow.
So my question was, in the middle of it all, I'm like, where is that money going? We showed up to the Arroceros Park, which is like a botanical garden in Manila that's supposed to be cleaning the air. And when we arrived there, she was decked out and dripped in her Louis Vuitton boots and Valentino and all of that, but there was no water at the park.
Wow.
So I'm like, here you are as a public servant, dripped in your designer gear, and there's no water here at the park. So I'm seeing a disconnect. And people in the Philippines, they're very well aware. The citizens, they know that their government is corrupt. And this woman is actually about to run for governor of NCR, the region of Manila that is,
Wow.
a province. So like after the pageant, and so there was a lot of, they were sleep depriving us. Like this pageant stuff is no joke. Unfortunately, these women, they feel like they join these things because they want to feel validated, and they will literally do anything to gain a piece of validation, whether it's an award, whether it's, this crown, this sash, and Beyonce, all of that. And I'm just like, I just saw the what's the word, the breakdown of all of it. And then, so next thing you know, I'm sleep deprived, all of this energy. Also too, this is another side story. It's crazy. I caught Miss Russia doing witchcraft.
Oh, what?
Yes.
What, to like try to win the pageant or something, or?
I think so. And it was more so than winning the pageant. It was, just about energy. We know how this goes. And, so I was just peeping some funny behavior, also some prostitution-like behavior where they bring girls into the pageants and they sell them out to different men or whatever. So all of the energy was building up, and it was the preliminary night before the coronation. And next thing you know, and mind you, I was like one of the organizers, one of the national directors. She was like, we were leaving a restaurant one day, and I was just turned around to talk to a fellow Filipino and telling them about the positive change I see are going to be happening in the Philippines. And I guess everyone had left, and she came and she dragged me away from talking to that person. And she was like, if you need to be rude to somebody, be rude to somebody so that you don't mess up the pageant aesthetic.
What?
So, and for me, as I'm here for the earth, I'm here as a humanitarian, and I love people. You know what I mean? So
who did she say you were being rude to?
She told me to be rude to people. She's like, so that you fall in line with the other pageant girls and you don't get left behind. She
wanted you to be rude.
She wanted me to be rude.
What?
And I'm like, I'm a pageant girl out here. It's like I'm not going to be rude to people. You know what I mean? Just to fall in line with your little pageant aesthetic so that I make the group look good. So it was just a lot of that energy, which kind of, it caused me to be a bit angry at one point. And then seeing all this carbon footprint stuff being pushed. And then during the middle of the pageant too, there was, we were all having dinner, and one of the other guys from the Climate Change Commission came and had dinner with us. He had just come from a meeting with the UN. I don't remember where they were meeting at in another country, where they were talking about pushing this agenda now.
Wow.
So I kind of just started boiling up. And in front of the media and the preliminary night, I just started yelling. I said, this is the precursor to global slavery, and breaking down, what was going on. And then the head of the Climate Change Commission lady, she came out and she was all calm, and she just grabbed my hand and she said, just go home and get some rest and come back for the coronation night. And I said, okay, came back coronation night. She sees me, nobody else was around. She's like, oh, you're here.
What?
I was like, in my mind, you told me to come back, because I wasn't going to go to the coronation. I was like, I'm done with this after I blew up. And so obviously she was just doing that to look good in front of everybody, like narcissists do. You know what I mean? They perform at all times. So the coronation, we're in the middle of it all. Now, mind you, really, I humbly say, I should have won the talent award. Okay, I didn't care about winning no pageant. All week, I was performing for them, making the girls happy, making everybody happy. The national director kept wanting me to sing. He kept wanting me to sing. And the Climate Change Commission lady kept wanting me not to sing. She's like, okay, we're no more of you. Anybody else? And I could tell she was just not liking me. You know what I mean? And her last name is Torres too, funny enough.
What?
So,
interesting.
So the coronation happens, right? And we're there. And this was before the top 12 were called, right? Guess who wins the talent award?
Who?
Miss Russia.
Wow.
So
And in
I
your
already
opinion, was she like, what did she do? What was her
she did
talent?
some weird lyrical dance.
Oh, wow.
That was weird.
Yeah,
Straight
yeah.
up. I'm just gonna be honest. If it was
Wow.
great, I would have, you know what I mean?
Mm.
I give props to people. But it was not win worthy. But I knew that the Climate Change Commission lady went and told the judges purposefully not to give me that award. So that once again, I got a little upset. I walk off stage before the top 12 was called, okay? Because I didn't care about winning the pageant, but you're not going to snub me the talent award because I deserve that.
That's funny.
And I came back in, I went and changed my clothes and I came back in and I kind of blew up the pageant, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I just in front of the media scream, again, this is a precursor to global slavery. This is, you know what I mean? And then that night they also had Apple Diop from Black Eyed Peas perform. And he is pushing this agenda now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Who is he? The one that looks more Asian, right?
Yeah, the Filipino one.
Filipino. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's funny because in the first time I interviewed you, you shared like your Will I Am story, huh?
Yes.
And there's
Yes.
that. Then there's now.
Right. Right.
Interesting
Yeah.
synchronicities.
Mm-hmm. And then the media reported they reported me, but the media was saying, oh, I was upset because I didn't win top 12. I said, no,
Yeah, yeah.
correct. I was upset because I didn't get the talent award. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's funny. Yeah, because that's what I saw. Someone was like, yeah, like they made it like, yeah, you were just angry because you didn't win and all this
Yeah,
and
and
that.
I didn't care about the pageant. And what I really like, the top 12, whoever made the top 12 was going to be able to stand in front of the mic and speak their message.
Mm.
She was not going to let me get to know top 12.
You would have
You know?
probably said the same message anyways, right?
Yeah, my whole message was vortex-based mathematics.
Oh, that's what you were gonna.
That's what I
Yeah,
brought to
okay.
the pageant. Yeah.
Okay.
Because even though I was representing Peru and talking about the Amazon forest, you know, obviously we know they're chopping down a bunch of the rainforest right now.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Which the Amazon is the lungs of the earth. But a big problem of that happening is because government officials are being paid off. So now we're talking money. You know what I mean? So one of the main problems on our planet is money, is these numbers, this math, this currency.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Well, I guess that's a good segue. I mean, unless there's anything else you want to share about the pageant.
No, that was it.
No, but first, thank you for speaking up about that because I've seen that. Like, I know at some point I went down the rabbit hole about that whole carbon footprint, and it was just so dumb because the companies that are causing all that are telling humans, oh, check your carbon footprint when it would take like all humans, in the world to compare to even like one of those companies, like
Right?
the stuff they're doing. So to tell people, oh, we got to regulate your carbon footprint is a whole agenda. Like it's
And there
so.
aren't even enough humans to plant plants to replace what they've taken from the Amazon.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Our Earth was already established, running, operating like it should be. We're the ones destroying it.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't need to be planting out here. We need to not be removing the plants.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. No, no, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So it's all, once I had in the college, I had a professor and, I guess she owned like 3 7-Elevens, right? And she told us about that. She's like, oh, like, you want to know what's the number one seller in the 7-Eleven? And we were all guessing. No one got it, but it was the little 5-hour energy, the pink ones for cancer awareness, right? The pink ones for cancer. And she's like, you want to know how much of that goes to like the cancer? Like nothing, and we're like, oh wow. So all these things that they create to get us, they just know. They know the way the human mind works, right? And unfortunately, they try to manipulate. It's sad that they play to our empathy. They know that most humans, right, are empathetic. We care about these things. We've had someone affected by certain things, so they're able to, manipulate us. And yeah, sure enough. So it was interesting. So since then, I became more aware about, oh wow, half of these things that they try to sell us, like, oh, care about this, care about that. It's fine and dandy. We should care, but they don't. They're just using it to.
Yeah. And they tug at our heartstrings, our emotional, you know what I mean? And then like, oh, we feel bad, we got to do better. Like, no, they got to do better.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I could keep going down that rabbit hole, but okay. Let me. Well, I'll just say this. For example, once I had to build a website like at some school that I was going to, and I don't know. I chose pollution, right? Like air pollution, and so I think at the time Bush Jr. was president, and I guess he didn't pass. They had tried to pass like over 200 laws that would lower pollution in California, and he didn't approve none of them because all his friends, right, that own these companies that are throwing all the pollution into the air. And at that point in LA, a baby born in 2 weeks in LA would breathe the smog a human being should breathe in a lifetime. In 2 weeks of being born, a baby, yeah, will breathe in the smog a human or a normal human. So there's your F cancer. People always want to know F cancer. No, F the people that are giving us like or creating this environment that's giving us the cancer, you know?
Also, too, organizations like HAARP, people don't realize like all of the natural disasters that are happening. They're sending out frequencies into the atmosphere. It's ricocheting off the dome, and that those frequencies are causing tsunamis, earthquakes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like it was obvious HARP was, or at least that's my belief, that they were the ones that did that Haiti earthquake when it happened. Like it was the largest earthquake.
I think they're responsible for a lot more than we know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, you know, when I looked into that, what, since we talked about that, like I remember looking into HARP. Well, after I found out about HARP, that there was like in the 70s or something, there was like over 60 countries that signed an agreement to not use weather as a weapon of mass destruction. So how can you sign a treaty for something that doesn't exist, right? So it's clear that even since way back then, they had the technology to use weather as a weapon of mass destruction. So they signed, yeah, it was like 60 something countries signed that treaty.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But it never said you can't use it against your own citizens.
Dang.
That's the thing. That's the key. See, so the agreement, see, that sometimes we think, oh, these countries are at war. I'm sure behind the scenes, they're all getting along,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, yeah.
For sure. And they all go and meet. How can we destroy our people?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's all like, yeah, because the way Trump's destabilizing the US, I know there's like karma attached to it, but the way he's destabilizing, it's almost like that's his purpose, right? It's clear, like that's his purpose, right? Behind the scenes, that's the agreement, right? It was like he was gonna come in and just boom, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cause civil war, like he's trying, like all the stuff, that kind of.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I can keep going down that. Oh yeah, Vortex Mathematics, if you would be so kind.
Yes. Okay. So it's like years ago, I was talking to a friend and he was very mystical about it, right? And he was like, he basically said this. He was like, once he said, there's a certain mathematics in the kingdom of heaven. And I was like, he's like, and you have to enter the kingdom of heaven to be able to receive this information, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? So it must have been like 2 years later. I just started stumbling across this math. I'm trying to remember now where I even came across it. I don't remember, but I've just ever since just started kind of delving more into it, processing it in my own, mind and all of that. And what we learned from Vortex, well, it's easy, right? Okay, so numbers, we have 1 through 9, right? Those are all the numbers that we have that exist in the universe, right? After 9, what do we get?
10.
10, which is essentially 1 and a 0. What is 1 and a 0? Binary code, which also could possibly allude to that simulation theory, right? But besides that, so it lets us know there's no larger number in the universe than 9. Teaches us Fibonacci sequence 369, which Jesse used for his quote to tap into free renewable energy, harness electricity, all of that. We're talking about, creating a vortex to be able to magnetize all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And math breaks that down. Also, a gogol is the last name for an integer agreed upon by world leaders. So after a gogol, there's nothing. That lets us know that these numbers are essentially made up. You know what I mean? And if you really look at Common Core, it's an off math. There's excess, right? Which is why it ends and it like falls off. You know what I mean? It's a math that creates a dead end, which Common Core specifically is meant to create poverty and scarcity.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You just keep stacking and it creates a labyrinth, an illusion of numbers rather than simplifying numbers, because we know that everything in the universe is really, it's simplified. You know what I mean? We complicate matters by, and of course they wanted to confuse us all. So they implemented this math to keep us all in scarcity while they're siphoning our energy. And at the end of the day, it's not even about money. It's about the currency of our energy, the current of our energy. You know what I mean? Where those waves are flowing to and all of that. So if the more we start to formulate our mentality around vortex-based mathematics, it allows us to override the matrix money value system and tap into abundant flow. Now, we don't have, it's right now, Vortex is not implemented in our value structure, our value system on Earth. Right now, I do believe Qatar, though, they've implemented possibly vortex-based math, because right now they're providing every single one of their citizens a UBI, a universal basic income. And nobody in Qatar has to work if they don't want to. And with their UBI, they live comfortably. And the country is operating seamlessly with this renewable math. You know what I mean? So that's what we need in the rest of our systems on Earth, where it's, because we know that energy is renewable. You know what I mean? So it's like we're just making up excess and then throwing away, and then which creates what we perceive as scarcity in the universe.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah. That's interesting. So explain it a little. I mean, if you want to, because I know you're writing a book about it too, right?
Yeah, I started writing a book. I kind of stopped too, because I'm like, you know, I get in different like headspaces or whatever, but I think in maybe a few months right now, I'm like working on something else. I'll go back to that. And I also, because I want to grow more, get a little bit more revelation, and, you know, like I start to understand things a little bit better as time goes by. But if I were to tell a child, you take two humans, this is why 1 + 1 = 3 and not 2. You take two humans, they procreate, and they produce a third. 1 and 1 = 3. Simple.
That's funny that you said 1 and 1. Wow, that's funny. Cause I don't know. Last night I had a dream. I didn't bring back too much from the dream, but I just remember 1 and 1 came out, 11, and then 11 came out again. But it was like almost like with cards, right? Like I remember 11 came out, and then 11 came out again. And then I was watching a video and it said 11, 11 again. And I was like, that's funny. So I don't know.
Well, and then within that one, there's so many dimensions and pockets of information within that one, which is probably where I'm just getting this right now, by the way, as you're saying this. So it's gonna process even more, and I'll probably come back and have more information regarding that, you know?
Yeah. No.
That makes sense. I know it's weird, but I just got like a little download, so.
No, don't worry. I live in that world. So yeah, no, it doesn't sound weird at all. Yeah, no, I'd love to hear it. What else was I getting? No, okay. So
So
go ahead.
with this information, because people are like, well, what do you do with it? I'm like, listen, I was just told years ago when this information came to me, it was like God was just like, just put out the information. And there will be other people that will come in and eventually be able to implement, and where we can really, really change our value system here on this planet to where literally there will be no poverty. And then sickness and disease follows, because sickness and disease is rooted in poverty.
That makes
So
perfect sense.
even with that, vortex-based math can be applied to your health, right? Because we're so accustomed to our medical industry where, you know, you have one symptom, you go to the doctor and they just pump you medication to suppress it, where we haven't learned that the body is actually renewable. The body heals itself. So if you allow the body time, rather than pumping medication into your system and it, you know, masking all the symptoms, you're not actually getting to healing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we come full circle with this, knowing that the body is also operating in a vortex-based math way, so that it renews itself.
Absolutely. So the currency itself isn't actually like a tangible currency, right? Like that's
No, not yet, at least.
Yeah. No, I just want to because I got what you're saying, but I want to so anyone listening can understand it as well, right? So I'm like, okay, how I mean, maybe they're already tracking with what you're saying, so it's fine.
What do you mean?
Like that, right? Like, so the currency that you're talking about, the Vortex math, doesn't involve an actual, like, you know how we have dollar bills and all that stuff now, right?
Yeah, no, this is just a mathematics. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if we were to apply this mathematics to our infrastructure of our money value system,
Mhm.
telling you, it will eliminate poverty and scarcity because you're not having this excess. I don't know how to fully explain it right now, but that's why I'm like, if we talk to somebody in Qatar and how they implemented their math into the infrastructure of their country, we already have them as an example. We just need to learn from them.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. No, you just reminded me, like, I think once, right? I was driving, I was listening to this radio program, and they said for whatever reason, I guess they had a huge homeless problem, I think in Utah, and they figured it out. The streets were, they started, I guess, paying all the homeless people, so there was, like, it was basically gone, right? I forgot what city or if it was like the whole state or what, but they were able to. And I was like, okay, why doesn't everybody ask them how they did it? Like, isn't that common sense? Like,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
US where there's all this homelessness, why wouldn't you ask the people that figured it out? They
Yeah.
went from having people like sleeping all on the sides, and rather than here, like in LA, they'll put the spikes, right? Or they'll put different things. Yeah, they put like different things where people, like, they'll put rocks, right? Like if it was a
So people,
flat,
the homeless won't go.
yeah. So homeless one, yeah, they'll put like instead of it being flat, they'll put rocks or pokey things or different things so people can't sleep. Like, instead of, oh, okay, we're gonna offer you jobs and this and that, but they had figured it out in Utah. And people, as soon as they hear Utah, they're like, oh, Mormons and this and that. I don't care what they are. They figured out how to, you know what I mean? Just the knowledge, whatever they figured out, they figured out. And it wasn't just getting rid of them. Like back in the days, like that, how they said that in New York, when it would get cold, the homeless would freeze to death right in the streets. So that's what they did. They started buying them one-way tickets to Los Angeles, and eventually that's how we ended up having so many homeless people out here in California, because they would send them one-way tickets. It was cheaper to pay for the bus ticket than to have them die on the streets and then have to clean them up and all that stuff. So that's how, you know what I mean? But so Utah figured it out, and why didn't everybody go ask them? So I get what you're saying. I would love to. How would I mean, I'm sure it's not that hard, right? Once you put your mind to it, to actually.
Yeah, the hardest part is getting past the gatekeepers that that want to continue siphoning the energy from all of us. Because at the end of the day, it just boils down to energy. Because the money value system, the matrix money value system, is just an energy siphoning program.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like I said, I teach people how to, because I've applied it to my own life. You formulate your own mentality, and you can override the matrix money system.
Yeah.
And it works like magic, like manifestation, like everything we all talk about. You know what I mean? And start applying certain concepts, right? So I have a concept called Manna of the Day. So if somebody is going through a lot of hard times in their life, and there's no money coming in or whatever, it's we have a tendency to just focus and worry about the problems and fear. Well, I have a concept where, you take the Israelites when they were taken out of Egypt. They were in the wilderness and they didn't have any food, but God provided them with manna, and every day it was like fresh manna that came from heaven. You know what I mean? So what that does, if you focus on what you have today, you're grateful for what you have today. I have everything I need. And say maybe you don't have everything you need, right? You focus on what you do have, and that you step into a vibration of gratitude. And we know that gratitude, when you're authentic in that vibration, what does it do? It magically opens up doors and things come. Next thing you know, money is coming out of nowhere. You're getting a call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. No, that makes sense. No, and for example, I don't know, did I ever, because I wrote a book. I don't know if I told you about the book I wrote, but it was like that. They gave me a code, right? And that's how it started, right? I had a visitation. They gave me this knowledge. I put it in the book. I showed proof, right? Undeniable proof, right? I was like, wow, this is going to change the world, right? Like, this is the proof that, it was basically like, but it was with numbers, right? But even with that, I didn't know, because math, see, so I I got you, but I wouldn't know how to explain it. Math is not my thing, right? Anything out like creative stuff, whoo, I'm like,
Math was not my thing either.
yeah. So yeah, that's why when I'm asking, I'm like, okay, I'm following, but I want to understand it. So the same with this thing that I got. So I got to show proof of this code that's existed even in ancient times. But it was super embedded in my life. So I felt like, okay, I was definitely used as the vessel to bring this knowledge. Like it felt like that was my whole life purpose. Like, oh wow, now that I brought this to light, if I died today, I'm good. Like this is clearly my purpose because it's ancient knowledge. It's knowledge that exists in this reality, right? Um, what happened was after I published my book, this this guy popped up that he had the same code brought to him, but he was explaining it through mathematics. But I saw the way he explained it, probably unless you get that, he was probably just speaking, like
French.
foreign language, huh?
I said French to people.
Yeah, exactly. But it was funny too because yeah, it was just starting because I don't want to like hijack the interview and go about that. But I could talk to you about it after. But yeah, it was like I was like this is world changing information, right? And I did my part. I wrote the book. I showed proof. Um, and it's all about right, like it's mathematics. Really, that's all it is. It's
Everything is math in the universe at all. And if we simplify, that's what I'm saying right now, we need to simplify because we've gotten lost in labyrinths, dimensions of labyrinths of confusion, the many webs that they've weaved for us. You know what I mean? The webs of deceit out here. And now we're just getting out of that to just be in simplicity.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you because like the first time I interviewed you, were you as open like that, like the way you were like, oh, I'm getting something right now? Were you like that, or has
Probably
that
not.
opened up?
Probably
Okay,
not.
so it's been opening up for you more, or
I mean, I guess, yeah, as the years go by, definitely it continues to increase.
yeah, no, that's how I mean that's how it goes. So it's yeah,
Especially now because more of us are popping up,
yeah,
like us Starseeds, we're all like coming together and like we seem to be growing in numbers. And not that I don't think we've all been here, but we're all now just finally communicating with each other and we're like coming out the closet like that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like we're here, we're aliens, we out here.
No, hey, I that's like I don't know. Did I ever share that story with you or no?
Which one?
Like about like when I had when they visited me and everything.
I think you did, but I vaguely remember. I'm like,
Well, so I could tell you after. But
yeah.
let me see. I wanted to ask you no, well, actually yeah. I kind of wanted to ask you about that about like what else have you noticed opening up for you now? Like what kind of things like are you having more visions?
Oh my God, my Claire gifts are increasing like crazy. I started tapping into a little remote viewing
mm,
recently. Um, my mind reading gifts, sometimes I like will literally hear people's thoughts.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have to be very careful and be responsible with that. You know what I mean? Because that's like, like, I just remember the first time I heard someone, I was like, did I just hear you think out loud and say that? And it was a lot for me to process, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But I'm like, it's happening, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like people, oh, you can't read anybody's mind. Yeah, I can.
But see, even damn, I'm like, should we even be talking about no, like, cause I've heard other like medium psychics say but yeah, I've had those experiences as well, and like I'm like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? So it's just that I guess it's not as common because, um, yeah, I guess because I've heard like people that are very tapped in, and they'll be like, well, yeah, nobody could read someone's mind, and I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And for me, it like comes in waves, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Because it's like if I were to be able to read everybody's thoughts all the time, that would be way too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah. Like the first time it happened to me, it was like this friend. He was going through something. He's like, "Hey, can you go with me?" And he wanted to have some drinks, but I don't drink, right? So I was like, "Yeah, I'll go with you." He's, "Oh, I'll treat you to food or something." So we're at a bar, worst place to be, and we're sitting there, and he's just venting, and I'm just chilling. I don't know, probably drinking water or something. when all of a sudden it was like I could hear everyone's thoughts in the bar at the same time. And I thought I was gonna lose my mind. And he's just talking, and I just grab my phone. I text a medicine woman friend of mine. I'm like, hey, could you pray for me? I got no clue what's happening. I text another friend, hey, could you pray for me? I don't know what's happening. And then my friend, like, she lived in Colorado. She's like, oh. And then she sends me this thing, and it was like that day, it was this planetary alignment, super moon. It was like, if you're sensitive to stuff, stay like in nature by yourself or something. Here I am at a freaking bar. And my friend looks at me, he's, oh, what's wrong? He's, oh, is it me? Is it like, he was like saying, is it his vibes or something? I'm just like, yeah, I couldn't even talk. I was just like, dude, give me the hell. He's, oh, just let me finish my beer and we'll go. And I was like, what just happened? But with that thing, once my friend sent me that, I calmed down. I was like, okay, like, yeah, because I felt like, dude, am I about to end up like in the nut house? You know, like,
Yeah. We're like
because I couldn't
X-Men.
turn it off. Yeah, it was just too much, you know. So, yeah, and the same. I don't try to, because that's why I don't say that to people, because I'm not nosy at all, right? I do what comes to me, right? I'm not invasive like that, right? If they show me something, then I if it's a message I need to deliver to somebody, I'll deliver it. But I don't try to like be nosy up in nobody's business. I don't care. People aren't that interesting. So maybe people think like, yeah, I don't care, you know. Not to be like mean, but I don't care, you know.
Yeah.
Like whatever skeletons you got in your head or whatever craziness. I think they only show me if to warn me, right?
Mhm.
Like they'll show me to warn me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It
let's
kicks
say
in for safety for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like let's say I'm next to you and yeah, you look like all nice and sweet and this and that. And next thing you know, you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy. Like, yeah, they'll warn me. They'll literally be like, this person is up to like no
Yeah.
good, you know?
Yeah.
I'll get a
Yep.
bad feeling in my stomach, like just
Yep.
nasty. I'll be like, oh, what the hell? Like, well, what are you thinking? Or what are you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Energy doesn't lie. That's the beautiful,
Nope.
yeah,
Nope. I think a lot more people are going to be learning how to read energy moving forward too. You
yeah.
know, as soon as they become aware, I think, you know, we're here to activate everybody else too. You know what I mean? We're all just going to end up on the same page, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what? Anything else you want to share? Because I kind of had the thing about the pageant. I wanted to ask you. Oh, well, I had an interesting thing happen, and I remembered you. Right, this happened to me last year, though. In the first interview I did of you, you talked about how you had an experience where Jay-Z and Beyonce, you were in a dream with them. I
Dreaming.
had that experience last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like, what?
shoot.
But this was the weird thing. It was like around the time. It was around the time that the whole Puffy thing started blowing up. So it was like I almost felt like they were sending out this thing and people because in the dream it was like it kept like they were trying to convince me that they're really this great nice people and everything and they even fooled me in the dream. In the dream I was like, oh wow, they really are good people. But when I woke up I was like, what the hell was that? Like, oh damn, like are they sending out that kind of thing, you know, so people won't, yeah, yeah,
Ooh, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
because then it happened to somebody I knew with Trump. They would never in a million years support Trump, right? And then they were like, man, I had the weirdest dream. Trump was like this really nice person, and he was just so nice, and they were confused by it. So I was like, wow, are these people like they know how to do stuff like that? You know what I mean? Cast the illusions.
Yeah, I tell people all day, Satanists and people who drink babies' blood and eat babies, they're really nice people.
Yeah,
They have to be nice.
yeah, yeah. You know, but people will brush those off like they're conspiracy theories and this and that, right? Like they I guess if they don't see it, then they won't, you know.
But all of that is changing now. I mean, do you see it?
Yeah.
Like the world, like it's coming out, and whether or not I don't care. Like, 'cause people are like, "Oh, the Nicki Minaj tweet, it's fake or whatever." So I don't care if the tweet is fake, right?
What happened with Nicki Minaj?
She came out saying a tweet. There's a tweet where she's saying all the artists in the industry, they're mutilating babies, they're sacrificing children, yeah.
But what is she included in that?
Well, this is my thing because I mean we know she is included in it. You know what I mean?
That's what I would think, but what
It's a little bit of a psychological operation happening, you know what I mean, to create more division and to weave another web of deceit. But the thing about it, as I tell people, I look at the positive in it. It's still disclosure. It's still truthful information coming out, whether it's in a way that they're trying to. It's all still going to come out. You know what I mean? And they're not going to be able to do none of that at some point anymore. And it's just going to be like, okay, full transparency, full disclosure, and that's it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
Because,
but no, go ahead.
because I'm like, people, this is the age of Aquarius. We are in the Satyuga. This is the time that the book of Revelation foretold that the Christ consciousness will be reigning for 1,000 years. We're here. It's part of the timeline. So just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You think it's so negatively all the time. Oh, well, no, they're gonna keep. No, they're not gonna. They're gonna try. Okay, and we laugh at them. They're cute. Get cute, right? That's how I look at them now. You know what I mean? All the elites, the powers that be. All they're no, cute. No, we'll let you have your last little hurrah, and time's almost up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes sense. Well, my thing is like because I know how easily they could be stopped. So to me, it's just more of it's always mind-boggling that they're doing what they want because we're allowing it. You know, it's like I know someone has like there was a meme about like kind of like the elites, or if you want to call them that, I don't know what to call those people, you know, because they're, to me, in my eyes, they're nothing special, right? Like they're just like us, right? They're while they're here, they're in these flesh bodies, right? So, but it's that thing where people are under a table and all they have to do is stand up and like their whole table goes flying. Have you ever seen that meme or something? It's like,
oh yeah. Just one little, like, a house of cards. Bam.
Yeah. It's like, let me tell you something interesting happened last night that I have because this person's not even in my, like, not last night, the night before. I had a dream that freaking Clive Davis, right? Because you're probably more knowledgeable of like the industry people than I am, right? Like, so yeah, it was like I went up to somebody and I was telling them, I walked up, there were two people sitting down, and I was like, hey, that's it, I'm done. And to his left was Clive Davis. And he looks at me and he like smile. He's like, no, you're not done. And I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm done. And then he's like, no, you're not done. I was like, what the freak? And then it was almost like he was trying to say I had like a contract. And I was like, I didn't sign no damn contract. Like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, yeah, you're not done. And then with this evil smile though, right? And so even there, I was like, wow, if you guys, I mean, then you guys didn't keep your word or something, because I don't even remember signing a contract. He's like, well, don't you want to do shows and this and that? But it's funny because after now I analyzed it, there was someone once that trying to sign me for something, and that's how they came at me like, oh, you're not going to keep any of your publishing, but don't you want the music video? Don't you want, they were going to give me all the fame stuff, but they were going to keep all my publishing. So I was like, hell no. And he asked me 3 times for it. He kept coming back to me. Oh, are you sure? Like, yeah, no. Oh, but it's such a great song. It was like they wanted to get one of my songs, right? And I was like, I know it's a great song. I wrote it, you know? Well, yeah, no, like, well, exactly. It's a great song. Why would I give you all the publishing from it? Like, you didn't do nothing. Zero. So why? But they wanted that. So anyways, but it was interesting, Clive Davis, because this is not someone I know about aside from, I think I saw that Puffy documentary and they were saying like he was Puffy's mentor, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like, but what do you get from that character? Like, you probably know more about him than I do.
You go and take a look at Clive Davis. He looks like a reptile.
Yeah, I've seen because when I looked up, well, this was funny. When I woke up, the first thing, like, automatically, I went to the computer and I put Clive Davis, the devil. I don't know what made me type that. So it was funny that that's what I typed. And someone had made a documentary or a little video, but it was kind of like, it didn't really give a lot of information, but it said Clive Davis, the son of Satan. So that's what popped up. Yeah. So, and I watched some of it, but they didn't really give a lot of details. So then I stopped. But anyways, but yeah, but go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, obviously we know he's been calling the shots. He's, you know what I mean? He's a non-musical running a bunch of talent. And like, come on, people, the proof's in the pudding. We've seen it all. They also say that during when Whitney died in the tub, Clive Davis's Grammy party was going on. So she died upstairs in the hotel room while the party was going on downstairs. Now, this behavior has been conducted by elitist type people for eons. You know, you go to Louisiana, you go to the French Quarter, and you see, I forget the name of the mansion there, but they tell you the story, the history of Madame, I forget the name of the lady, but she would hold her parties. She'd have loud music, the musicians, and then they'd be murdering people in the upstairs room.
What?
So, you know, it's like, this is common knowledge now, you know, and it's all energy based. When you sacrifice a human, you gain their energy. And that's how we know, that's how they stay afloat, you know? So, but okay, so I'm noticing right now, like other starseeds, we're all kind of like connecting the dots. We're making the Nephilim connection right now. So the Nephilim are the beings that were the offspring of the Watchers, you know, the fallen angels and human women, right? So when they procreated, they birthed the giants known as the Nephilim. I've known about the giants and the Nephilim. You know, I grew up in Christianity, so I read the Bible all the time. But lately, because, you know, I had the ex that did witchcraft on me. He comes from, his father is Russian Argentinian. Now I put pieces together, right? Which is how I come to these conclusions. His father is Russian Argentinian. He was also a Freemason too. When I was with him in 2011, he took me to the Grand Lodge on 23rd Street in New York to go tour it. I met his worshipful master, went to a party twice. And he was like, you know, he never said I worship Satan, but he was very adamant about not believing in God. And you know what I mean? And he would hold this manila folder in front of me and like laugh, like with this smile, evil clown smile, right? And be like, oh, you know, this is all the secrets to stuff that you don't know, and the Bible and your God isn't real and all that kind of stuff. It was evil about it. You know what I mean? But his name also happens to be Ronald, right? Like Ronald McDonald, which is a depiction of what we're now seeing as the Nephilim, right? Because they're saying, so let me go back really quick. So his father is Russian Argentinian, right? Comes from Russia, but family immigrated to Argentina. So he's essentially Russian, right? He ain't Latino. And his name is Dmitry, looks Russian. And so we know, I have heard that some of the vampiric bloodlines, obviously Transylvania, I love to suck your blood. There's a connection to up there in the north and the vampiric bloodlines, right? So he was already attuned to, you know, joining Freemasonry. His father was also a doorman on 81st Street on the Upper West Side. I believe that certain doormen were brought into Freemasonry because they were privy to a lot of that Jeffrey Epstein activity that was going on. And they got to watch, you know what I mean? So, hey, we're just going to bring you into the Brotherhood. We could come in with the little girls every now and then, and you just keep quiet and you just have your job. You get paid, you get bonuses, you know, under the table and all of that. That's how it works. So I speculate, because he did, when I was with him, he kind of broke down crying one day. Oh, something happened to me when I was a little boy. He couldn't talk about it, right? After I left him, I had dreams that there was heavy demonic possession on him. Other dreams where he stayed stalking me. I mean, he still stays stalking me for now. But I had a dream I was like perched high in the sky, like on my way to Coachella, and I had to pull myself across this like narrow pathway in the sky to get there. And his face was just like in the sky watching me. You know what I mean? So then I had another demonic dream about him in November, you know, because his energy is still very much focused on me. You know what I mean? Because what he wants to do is destroy me, you know, but it's okay. I'm still alive. He tried to take me out in 2020. That was a spell that he put out to literally take me out, but it didn't work. So anyway, so he's already comes from this bloodline, right? And we know that DNA, it gets watered down, you know what I mean? So of course they're now, after however many years, thousands of years or whatever, hundreds, you're going to look more you're going to look more human, you know what I mean? But you still have this DNA from this evil bloodline, you know what I mean? So then I'm gathering all this information, and the next thing you know, I stumble across information that's talking about the Nephilim looking like clowns, which is why even the movie It, and all the evil clowns, the court jesters, people have said that when they're on DMT, they see these evil clown-like entities, you know? So now, and then even on the Grammy red carpet, Grammys this past weekend, you saw Lola Young. If you look on her outfit that she was wearing, there's a clown right in the middle, Chaperone looks like a clown. Lady Gaga was in clown-esque. CeeLo Green showed up on the on the carpet with like red demon eyes, and then his son was in full clown garb with the red hair and then even recently, I was watching Kai Cenat meet up with Jaden Smith because Jaden Smith is now the creative director for Louis Vuitton. So he's meeting up with him, and they're walking into this red room, right? It's all red lighting. And then in the wall in the back, it says, "Are you ready?" And then as Kai is coming up the stairs, Will Smith is right there, like in front of him. And Kai is like, Jaden sees Kai, and Jaden starts screaming like this, "Ah!" Like, but happy to see him, but it sounded very demonic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Jaden, all the red light is on, and it looks like his mouth is covered in red, right? But what it is, when you turn the red light off, he's been donning this look where he paints the upper half of his face red and some parts of his body too, depending on what he's wearing. So when the red light turns on, it reverses. It looks like the red is here. And where you painted red, it looks like skin color under red light. So they say the clown was depicted with the red hair and the red mouth because of the cannibalism, the eating of the humans and the babies.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Is that where that whole clown red mouth thing comes?
Yes. And then Kai Cenat just dropped a clothing line. And the clothing line, now mind you, these are immortal beings, right? The Nephilim.
I don't know Kai Cenat. Who's Kai Cenat?
He's the number one streamer on the planet right now.
Oh, shoot. Oh, that's why it sounds familiar. I think one of my nephews, they know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people speculate that Kai Cenat is Diddy. That's a whole other thing. Now we're talking about immortal beings that can shapeshift and change their image. You know what I mean? It gets deep. I'm not 100% sure about all that. I'm just, relaying the information because it's out here. We still got to sift through it a little bit more. You know what I mean? But a psychic friend of mine, he was a firefighter during 9/11. He lives in Australia now. He's actually been helping, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but he was helping an actor from Hollywood who was accused of cannibalism. I don't know if you know who he is.
No. There was a rapper I remember that ate somebody and then they ended up locked up because they were on something, and then but that's I don't know which actor.
Armie Hammer. He was on The Social Network. He was in the show Gossip Girl. Really tall, like blonde hair, blue eye guy. So supposedly he was pegged. There's a documentary you can go on. I think it's on Prime or Hulu, one of those, and it's Armie Hammer. It's his documentary about that, where people in Hollywood and his ex-wife, were pegging him for being a cannibal. So my psychic friend told me, he's like, no, that's not the truth. So it's like, okay, so are the cannibals trying to frame the one who isn't a cannibal? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's, the information is there. It's just, we got to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a bunch of different things, right? I've seen entities attached to people. I've seen entities almost that, like the person stepped out and the entity stepped in. So I have seen that, you know what I mean? I've seen but that, right? There's like all these different layers to it. I've seen that almost like where they're just hanging around like a whisper, right? They're around the person, right? And I've seen them to where it's almost like Venom, right? Like a symbiotic thing. Like they're literally like one, like they're merged, right? It's really weird. And then I've seen that, like where someone will step out and this thing steps in.
It was like the Vril, what they say, like.
What's
like
the Vril?
The Vril is like a reptilian parasite that enters the body and it takes over.
Yeah.
Finds a host and basically just takes over all the consciousness.
But it's weird. See, when I see them, it's almost like people give permission through whatever. Like this one I could share because it was like. Yeah, they allowed me to share it, so I could share this. Like, there was someone I did a reading for, and it was weird. I saw this thing, like, it's like they'll show me traumas, right? Because that's when these things kind of come in. And I saw this person even as a baby, right? And I told them, I was like, hey, were you in an incubator as a baby? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, wow. And then I was like, damn, yeah, I see the nurse. The nurse was like snapping at your mom. Why is that? oh yeah, because my mom was smoking around me, so I was like, oh shoot. So they were all pissed off that, it was like the mom's fault that he's over there in an incubator at the hospital and this and that, because he was like a newborn and I don't know something. But anyways, then I seen him, like, it was weird. It was like like a little older and in a cage and like screaming, and this entity that looked like an angel was there. And when I saw him, but he was in the shadows, and when I saw him, he started smiling, and I see I'm getting chills right now as I'm telling you. And it was like this evil smile. So this thing almost made itself look like an angel. And when that kid, as a kid, so this thing had been with him for a long time. When this kid was vulnerable, damn, I'm getting so many chills. Like my whole hair is growing right now. And so, because yeah, it's pretty sad. It's sad that that's how they come in, right? But how would someone remember? Oh shoot, this thing's attached to me when I was a little kid. You know what I mean? You have to go back. That's why when it comes to spiritual spaces, you have to do all that shadow work, right? Because a lot of times it is traumas from your childhood that you had no clue that you're still carrying, right? There's all these things, and that's when you take your power back, because that's how they come in. It's like they say, people that let's say it's some trauma happened when they were kids. When they're triggered, they could be 30 years old and boom, they start acting like a 5-year-old, and they literally go back to that moment, right? There's like the triggers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, after I saw this thing and I was like, damn, but this thing's only there because you, like, it probably lied to this person. Like, I protect you. I'll make you, like, you're safe with me.
And then you consent.
Allow it. Yeah, you consent. Exactly. You consent. So that's how these things attach. So even now, when someone stepped out and this thing stepped in, it's almost like something, right? Like they give this thing, they want to go into hiding, right? So we have all these abilities as humans, right? We're very powerful. Everyone, all the old, like, people have said it, right? Like even Jesus, right? Saying you guys are going to be able to do more than what I'm able to do and all this stuff, right? So yeah. So I don't know how I got into that. We're talking about the entities, right? Yeah. So yeah. It's yeah. So anyway, that's the thing. Yeah, I've seen them like that. So really, but that's the whole game. That's the illusion, is that's how they get us, is because they only have the power that we're giving them. Yeah. And I know it's easier said than done. It doesn't sound, but even that, when we drink and lose our, like, there's people, hey, you could drink and you could be in your right mind, cool. It's kind of like,
you're not allowed.
oh, I know. No, I mean, I don't feel like anything has ever taken over me, but it's not like I never acted a fool when I drank,
Yeah. I'll tell you where alcohol for me came in handy. I don't know why, because a friend of mine told me that his mom used to practice Santeria, right?
Yeah.
And whatever you're doing, it all boils down to intention, because everyone's doing energy work out here. You know what I mean? So he told me that, obviously, and they do that in Santeria too. They'll drink the spirits to tap into a certain energy, right? When I was in the Philippines last year, I met this girl, and I met her after a gig. One of the popular Latin singers in the Philippines. She's like, "Hey, these are my friends. Connect with them or whatever." Next thing you know, this young girl, she was about 25. She's reaching out to me on social media, and she's like, "Hey, I want to hang out with you or whatever." And I said, "Okay, sure. What's your schedule?" And she was like, "Oh, I go back to Australia on Saturday for chemo." And I was like, "Oh my God, you have cancer?" I was like, "Okay, let's meet tomorrow." You know what I mean? Now she's tugging on my emotions and my heartstrings. So I meet with her. We're just, I get to know her. We're sitting down. Next thing you know, she's telling me, she's like, "Oh, listen, I have this cousin. He's this Turkish Jewish guy from Canada. He's an expat. He lives here. I showed him your picture. He wants to talk to you." And I said, "You know what? I'm single. I'm available. Like let's, I'm open to it." Next thing you know, she's showing me audio of him singing, this beautiful voice. I was like, "Oh my God, this guy can really sing." And then he's texting me, telling me that he leads worship at this Victory Church on Thursday nights, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I was supposed to go meet up with him. And she was going to take me to Victory Church on Thursday night to go. She was like, "I want you to come and lead worship with us." I was like, "Oh, I haven't sung at church in 20 years. I was like, I would love to, just to kind of connect back to that portion of me. so we were hanging out, and I was drinking a little bit, and then through that, my spidey senses really started kicking in. Because to that, I was in a really positive mind frame. You know what I mean? But in this instance, the alcohol allowed me to think in a little bit more negative mind frame, which allowed me to catch her in certain lies. You know what I mean? To start paying attention. Next thing you know, I started catching her, and then I started like playing the game with her. And long story short, I exposed her. I got out of the situation, and then she texted me later. She's like, "Oh, Tina, where did you go?" And I was like bullshitting her. But then at one point I was like, "I know what you're up to." And then when I exposed it all, she was like, "I'm so sorry, Ate. You showed me so much love." You know, she basically told me she had been prostituting since she was 15, that this Jewish Turkish Canadian guy was her pimp. He gave her AIDS. And that he's running a sex trafficking ring, and she goes and recruits girls and brings them in. She was not going to be taking me to a church. She was going to be taking me to a synagogue where I was going to be abducted.
Jeez. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, that's beautiful. the alcohol.
Ultimately, it's the protection of God. It's a protection of angelic beings around me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I know that a little bit of alcohol did kind of, so we can't make everything a religion. You know what I mean? We can't demoralize everything. Oh, that's good for you. That's bad for you. That everyone is different. You know what I mean?
No, go.
No, that's it. For
me. No, go ahead. What were you gonna say? The finishing.
Just because everyone's different, has a different, different experience, different energy. So,
Yeah. No, and so, even back then, I was nowhere near like in control of myself as I am now. Like, by no means, right? So when I stopped drinking, I still hadn't processed everything. Like, I'm nowhere near, like I haven't drank for over 10 years. So back then, it was like, I guess things would still trigger me or this and that. Like the alcohol still had, it takes a lot to make me, it depends. I could get mad really fast but it's really hard. It just, I guess if there is a certain thing maybe, but I still probably wouldn't react how I would have before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I say this too, it really obviously alcohol is spirits, we can talk about the physical component of things, but at the end of the day, it's really you and your energy and where you're at, you know what I mean? Yeah. And if you have a lot in your subconscious, a lot that you have not dealt with or faced, guess what the alcohol is going to do? Once you start drinking, the subconscious is just going to kind of like come to light, and those things end up coming forth. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not about the substance. It's about the reworking of yourself and facing your darkness, healing your traumas, going through all of that, Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So on that note, because I'm limited on time, unless there's anything else you want to.
No, I think we covered some good ground. So
okay. Yeah, we'll definitely do it again.
Yes.
I think like you said, times are changing. I've been having that. I know that nudge now again. It goes and comes. I've gone through that in my life where I'll be very like out there, right, saying things, and then there's times when it becomes dormant for a while, relax, and then it comes out again.
And then you revisit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was a little worried today, because I was like, dang, I haven't really been in this headspace of Vortex Math right now. But I'm like, this is embedded in my heart,
Yeah.
But absolutely. I think soon enough, when time calls, I'm going to go back to finishing writing that book,
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Tina. It's been amazing. We'll have to do it again soon. Yeah. And thank you to anybody that tuned in. And let us know in the comments if you resonate with anything that we talked about. So thank you so much. It's an honor.
Thank you, Omar. It's my pleasure, my honor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bye, everybody.
Life may move fast, or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he make it slow. We look up out towards space, or even at the sky. One that gets away, but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out. same. I mean, human beings, I ain't got no doubt. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I wanna feel this way forever.